Today is going to be an expansive day. It's as if something inside of us is being called forth out of this last chapter and into something new that is still yet to be experienced. We have this opening card of the Page of Wands today, which is an energy of expansion. And it's like we want to ascend to a new level in our lives. We want to level up. We want to have an experience that's possibly going to be bringing in a bigger understanding in our lives. It's so interesting because this card is associated with Sagittarius, which is governed by Jupiter. And Jupiter just moved into Aries. And that's this energetic of, again, expansion in our sense of self. And particularly wherever Aries is sitting in your chart, it's going to be in that area of your life. And so it's almost as if, we realize that wherever we are right now, whatever we've learned so far, we want to go to a source. We want to seek something that is going to bring us bigger understanding, a larger viewpoint of life itself and a higher quality, and the zodiac system. The realm of Sagittarius and Jupiter is associated with, for instance, going to, get your master's in education, or moving from a small business into a big business, or the person who is seeking a spiritual truth and something that has greater depth than what they've experienced just on day-to-day life through practical means. And so it is as if we are quite literally holding on to our will and seeing where it can take us beyond where we've already been. The challenge that we have for today is the Nine of Pentacles. So there's some completion around something in our lives. It's wrapping up, right? Maybe somewhere where we put our energy and effort, we've realized it's gotten to its climatic point. And it's not going to go any further than that. And so that can pose as a challenge because it kind of can take us a step back to see like if we actually want to continue to put our energy there. It also lends this energetic of, taking things for granted, like assuming that things are going to just keep going the way that they've always gone and we'll be able to get by off of that. It's a challenge because we feel the need to go to a place that's going to call more effort out of us. And yet there's this energetic of what we already have that we are comfortable with. And quite honestly, if we want something more than what we have, then we have to change the situation. So the way we're going to get through the challenge, the Ace of Wands. There's some inspiration, some new beginning that is coming in. And so, it's like if this person is totally happy and satisfied with their life and doesn't really feel any energy to make any big effort to change things, and yet all of a sudden they get this inspired idea to do something, well, they're going to have to leave this place to go and do that. They're going to have to actually take their wand, their will into their hands, much like that opening card that we had of the Page of Wands. So there's this directional energy to the Ace of Wands. It's like the fire of our spirit has been ignited again, and it's excited about something. And that excitement is going to stir us out of this sense of kind of satisfaction. That the sense of everything is okay. It's not great, but it's okay. Well, this energy here of the Ace of Wands is really provoking us to take action towards something. The ultimate outcome that we have for today, showed up as an energy that we may not like so much. It's the Eight of Swords. So this is some kind of limitation that we're sitting in, that we feel pretty much bound by the circumstance or situation that we're in. And particularly in the way that we're looking at things or seeing the situation. Like, we don't feel like there's any way out of it. We don't see the path out, right? And yet this card is so interesting, and I think it's actually a really beautiful card, because you may not be able to see it now based on the lighting here. But, well, she can't see where she's going or what's happening around her, right? Because she's bound by some kind of cloth or rope, and she's blindfolded, and there's swords appearingly on every side of her. Behind her, there's this break in the clouds, and the sun is shining through it. And so it's reminding us that everything is in motion, and to not take it personally of where we are right now, because things are opening up, right? Daybreak is coming. And the emotions that are at her feet, where all of these swords are anchored into the coastal waters, they will loosen up those swords so that eventually she won't feel so limited and boxed in by the mind. So we have to consider that things are in motion, and that a lot of times the way that we look at things is the most limiting thing, and that will shift in time with more information. I pulled us a fifth card today just for clarity, and that is this Queen of Pentacles. So she's showing up to kind of ask us to take a couple steps back from the situation. And instead of seeing everything with like our nose looking at it as closely as we can, to actually look at things from a life path point of view and realize that it's all a journey. It's so interesting because the Queen of Pentacles is speaking of that Capricornian energy, which is where Pluto is right now in retrograde. And when we started going through this big world scenario, we had a stellium, or a grouping of 5 planets all within the same space in Capricorn. And it's almost like if you were to look at a roulette wheel, there was like this big anchor on one side, and it's changing the way that we look at life, and it's changing the way that we value things, and possibly even consider what life is all about, right? So we see this queen with this big old coin on her lap. And some may say that our life is all about, how much you have in the bank or what you can acquire by way of material means. And yet the coin speaks to a lot of things. It doesn't just speak to actual financial money, right, by way of coin. It also speaks to our values and the things that we really treasure, and also our belief system. And so I think all of this stuff that we're going through is really encouraging us all to take a look at life a little differently. And what does our being bring to each day? And what do we gather through our experiences that truly bring value and depth to our lives? And also consider that the Queen of Pentacles has a different vantage point than the person who is in the Eight of Swords, right? I'm sorry, there's a plane that's flying around and it's making noise because they're probably fertilizing or doing something, like spraying something we don't want them to spray. One of those things. That's really the only reason why we have a plane that's so low down here. But this Queen of Pentacles, again, is like such an interesting juxtaposition to the Eight of Swords energy, because the Eight of Swords energy like doesn't see any perspective of the situation. She's blindfolded, she's bound, she feels really imprisoned by the mind. Whereas the Queen of Pentacles can say, I had to climb up this mountain, and this is what I gathered on my journey. And then I climbed up this mountain and I gathered this, and I met these wonderful people, and I learned this. And then I went up this path of the mountain, and this is what I gathered. And everywhere along my path, I left something of value for the people that were to follow in my footsteps so that they could learn from what I gathered on my journey. And in that way, we build a legacy rather than just, a trail of coins. Powerful energy this week is going to be happening because we are going into a lunar eclipse when we have a full moon in a couple days. And that is really going to be highlighting this new direction that we're going to be moving into in the next chapter of our lives. And I think it's really important that we all honor it and honor where we feel called, and that we remember to hold the light in times of darkness. I send you all so much love and a good wish to get through your day or to get through your week if this is the only time we get to visit this week. I wish you well, and I send you a lot of love. I'll see you again soon. Bye for now.